Hello, my name is Martin Ajzenszmidt, and I am reading some excerpts from my 1977 Bachelor of Arts honours thesis at the Department of Political Science at the University of Melbourne, Parkville, Victoria, Australia. The name of the thesis is Relative Generosity of the Minimum Wage Component of Wage Increases Granted at National Wage Cases 1956 to 1976. It was published by the Melbourne University Customs Book Centre as part of their thesis series. Now, Organisational Maintenance Hypothesis, OM2, Period 2, Observations and Conclusions. The Pearson correlation coefficient is 0.5379, indicating the refutation of hypothesis OM2 and confirmation of the antithesis of hypothesis OM2, namely that positive values of independent variables MPD AW precede positive values of dependent variables MPD MW, negative values of which are preceded by negative values of MPD AW. In other words, above inflation increases observed in the average wage tend to precede above inflation minimum wage awards by the full bench. Below inflation increases in the average wage tend to precede below inflation minimum wage awards. This is similar to the situation for period 1, with an increase in the magnitude of the correlation coefficient, which might be due to the decrease in the number of cases inherent in eliminating the data for minimum wage awards. Examiner's comment: why aren't you quoting the significance of your correlations? This is also the case with the partial correlation coefficients, the minimum observed value of which is 0.3880, produced by controlling for both MPD, CPI and MPD unemployment together. This is due to the chain of correlation coefficients, such that the independent variable MPD AW varies directly with MPV CPI with a correlation coefficient of 0.4924, which in turn varies directly with the dependent variable MPD MW with a coefficient of 0.2511. Thus MPV CPI contributes substantially to the strength of the correlation between independent variable MPD AW and the independent variable MPD MW. Controlling for MPV CPI has the effect of reducing that strength of the relationship between MPD AW dependent variable MPD MW. The observations that above inflation average wage increases precede above inflation minimum wage awards does not imply any causal relationship. The average wage is determined by all wage increases awarded, including previous minimum wage increases granted to individual occupational groups by the Commonwealth Conciliation and Arbitration Commission, as well as by state wage determination boards and increases negotiated by direct bargaining. Therefore, It could be said that the overall inflationary situation might generate a tendency for most wage increases to either be above or below inflation at any time, and therefore controlling for MPV, CPI moves the commonality link between the average wage and the minimum wage awards granted by the full bench, and the fact that they react in a similar manner to awards in inflation. I may read some other excerpts later.